it's a fascinating subject. I mean, well, it'd be great fun. We should do this for like the Transformers collecting community at some point as well.
Well, weirdly enough, I've got hopefully another interview to do today with a YouTuber called Jessie Gender, who's a transgender Star Trek channel, and she often does a lot of cross-examination between bigotry and sort of things like that. It's also like a trans activist. So I reached out to her and said, "Do you want to take part in this in terms of Star Trek?" And she said yes. And
well, given how progressive like Star Trek is at base, it's a great subject, right? It's a great subject for it. And
also, there's a gentleman I've been doing interviews with called Sean Ferrick from the Trek Culture channel, and I wanted to get him on board as well. So I'm interviewing him on the 26th.
Excellent, that's superb. I mean, it's Trek has never been my thing. I've never really got into it, but it is I've always been fascinated by just how Gene Roddenberry got away with it. At the time he got away with it, I mean, how did he not get arrested? How did he not get brought up before the McCarthyite courts and whatnot? Being proclaimed as a communist or socialist or whatever.
I suspect Lucille Ball might have had a certain hand to play in that, because it was her financing her studio,
right?
That put the money behind Star Trek in the first place.
Right, so she had a degree of insulation, some protection, maybe.
Yeah, she carried some clout even back then. So
yeah, it's amazing how progressive it is. It's why I always find when the present day Star Trek fans who are as a movement, they are problematic to say the least.
But every fandom has that
every
issue.
Fandom has it. Yes, it does. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. It's unfair to sort of condemn the entire movement. That's not totally unfair. But there is a very vocal contingent in the Star Trek community, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't even proclaim to be a fan of the show, but are we watching the same thing? Is some sort of Mandela effect thing occurring here, where you've actually watched a different show from a different reality? Because
this is one of the things I'm going to put to Jesse and Sean when I get to it, because I wanted to interview them both on the same day, get them on a three-way conversation, but I couldn't get the schedules to line up.
It's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, you watch the original show and it's so progressive for the era and the culture in which it occurred. It's like reading Ursula K. Le Guin, I mean, it light years ahead in terms of fiction, of what's going on, certainly in science fiction at the time.
And then if you look at when it grew into sort of the next generation, some of the subjects that covered, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, even leading up to modern shows like Strange New Worlds, which takes place about 10 years before Kirk.
Yeah.
And the diverse crew that they've got on the Enterprise there, it's everything is just hitting the same course. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it occurred to me that I should have actually introduced this. Hello, welcome to another.
Oh, that happens all the time. To be honest, have you ever seen?
Happens all the time.
Honestly, have you ever seen the Fluff and Hammer? The Warhammer one I do with Adam Nicol.
Very, very occasionally.
It goes on. Usually, the base format, insofar as there is such a thing for this, is that we talk for about 20 minutes to an hour, and then he ends up introducing us. That's normally how it happens.
Well, I managed to get this one down to about 3 minutes 47 seconds. So welcome to another episode of Conversations with Kang. This is a bit of a special one. I am joined by George Daniel Lay. Thank you so much for joining me on this one.
Oh, pleasure, man. Pleasure.
And I'll give the audience a bit of a context of what this is about. So as many of you will know, unless you lived under a rock, June is Pride Month.
It is
celebration of all things slightly non-conformative, shall we say?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Actually, slightly non-conformative. I like that.
And something I noticed from the outset on Twitter, I noticed a couple of people that I follow saying, "Oh, in the last couple of days, I've been called a groomer, a paedophile, this, that, blah blah blah," and it was happening on more and more posts and people that are following, sort of like trans activists and sort of things like that. And I thought to myself, where is this leading exactly? I want to have a discussion about the sort of how can I put it, the backlash that the LGBT community is facing across different genres and different mediums and different social interests.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, there is something really complex happening at the moment. We've gone backwards significantly in the UK and the US in particular. It's not happening to the same degree in Europe. In fact, the LGBTQ rights are actually progressing quite nicely in most of Europe. There are obviously exceptions, but for the most part, countries like Spain, like Greece, like France, Germany, it's progressing really nicely. You can see a clear path of progression from say the 1980s right up to the present day. Here in the UK, it's largely because of the anti-trans movement. The anti-trans movement in the UK, which is big and vocal and really powerful, unfortunately, because it's got some very big, vocal, powerful people behind it, not least of which is J.K. Rowling, of course, who's almost like the high queen or high priestess of it at the moment. I
refuse to say her name.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. But because of that, what's happened is it's a wedge in the door. And we've been warning people that this is the case. Those of us with any sense of scope or whatever, we've been warning people that this is the case. You open this door, you crick it open, and then you're going to get other forces trying to tear it wide, which is exactly what they're doing. They're attacking not just trans rights, which is bad enough, by the way. That's bad enough, and everyone in the queer community should be up in arms about that, by the way. But they're attacking all of us again. They're attacking all of us again. We've got new versions of Section 28, which are even fucking worse than Section 28 was.
They're pushing through. Yeah. There is. I can list at least fucking 6 people who are the social equivalent of dog shit on the pavement. You've got your likes. I'm going to name them here. I don't care if this video gets fucking pulled or not. I'm going to name them here.
Fuck him, Graham Linehan and that.
Graham Linehan.
What a complete piece of shit. I mean, Graham Linehan's a really interesting one, actually. Graham Linehan is really interesting because he is mad. There's something actually wrong with him. When you look at you look at his Twitter feed, you look at the amount of time he spends on Twitter, which is way too much for any sane or healthy person. You look at his background. He's got nothing left. He's actually a really good poster boy for this. There is this phenomena that's happening at the moment where people start with what they consider to be sincere concerns about sort of gender identity and social inclusion, the significance for women and for women's spaces and all that kind of thing. Sincere concerns.
It's always the toilets, isn't it?
And the pipeline from that to outright fucking lunatic fascism is a vertical shoot.
Well, I tell you, one of the things that prompted this series of videos from me was a post that I saw because I've got Graham Linehan blocked.
Me too. I mean, I think the last thing I said to him, the last thing I tried to say to him, which of course you can't talk to people like Graham Linehan, there's no point, but it may have reached someone in his audience, is, can't you see, do you have no introspection at all? Do you have no insight at all? You've lost everything. You've lost everything. You've lost your wife. You've lost your child. And he has no contact with them, by the way.
I believe that.
Is really weird, isn't it? Because even in circumstances where there is an abusive relationship, it's very rarely absolute zero contact, And that makes me wonder what the real situation is. I would love to talk to his wife or his daughter. I absolutely would, because I think there's some shit there. I think there's some real shit there. But he's lost that. He's lost his entire career. Everyone who supported him. And this, bearing in mind, this is the guy who made Father Ted, right? Well, in the 1990s, he was high comedy royalty in this country.
This is something I might want to come on to later on. He is a fantastic example of, can you separate? I mean, a bit like Kevin Spacey. Can you separate the art from the artist?
It's an interesting. I mean, that's a really thorny issue. Separating the art from the artist. It's a really thorny issue. Are you supporting them by consuming the art? Are you giving them money and social approbation by consuming the art? I would say in many instances you are. With regards to Father Ted and whatnot, I'm not so sure, because it's out of his hands now. It's out of his hands now, isn't it? He doesn't get anything from it or anything like that. In fact, people who do own Father Ted have taken pains to separate him from it because of his reputation. So I don't know. I mean, but it's funny, isn't it? It's funny, we remember Father Ted from our childhoods. But the thing is, he has gone so far down the rabbit hole that within a generation of ours, it's going to be forgotten. All he's going to be is the mad anti-trans bigot on Twitter.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that prompted me to do this series of videos was because I've got Graham Linehan blocked, J.K. Rowling blocked, Matt Walsh blocked. And the reason I've got them blocked is because Twitter was putting their tweets in my feeds when I didn't ask for it.
Yeah,
right?
that happens a lot, actually. There is a real problem with not just Twitter, but social media in general. Have you noticed it on Facebook as well? You get recommendations, quote unquote, from right-wing ideologues and sources all the fucking time, and I mean all the fucking time. You know, you get Jordan Peterson coming up, or you get Ben Shapiro coming up, and the only reason I would ever reference these arseholes is to combat them. You know, is to call them for the frauds and shysters they actually are.
Yeah. Now, I blocked them because I was like, I cannot stomach, and maybe this is partly my fault because I was looking at it going, I cannot stomach looking at this vitriol and bile.
Yeah.
However, I do appreciate that by blocking them, I don't see it. Therefore, it takes me out of it, whereas a lot of people are still subjected to it. So I'm toying with unblocking them. However, one that cropped up in my feed, again, that I didn't fucking ask for, which prompted this whole conversation from me, was Lawrence fucking Fox.
Oh, God. I mean, Lawrence Fox is a really interesting one because he's a very particular kind of British, like very particularly British prick. He's like Katie Hopkins or Nigel Farage in the sense that he doesn't actually believe in anything. He is vacuous and empty. He doesn't believe a word of what he says. He's a narcissist, right? Yeah. All he cares about, because he's so talentless and has failed at everything he's ever attempted. And I mean that. That's not just bile. I mean, everything he has touched has turned to shit, right? He's a bad actor. He's a bad singer-songwriter. He's just bad at everything.
Bad husband, bad father.
Bad husband, bad father. He's bad at everything. And one of the waste bins in this culture for utter failures, for trash fire human beings, is right-wing flapping head, right?
Yeah.
It's the only place where they can go. And it's for people like him, they don't believe a word. They actually don't believe a word of anything they say. They just say the most inflammatory, divisive thing because they know there are hordes of brainless twats out there who will listen to them and prop them up. If it came to the point whereby it would be more beneficial to them to start spouting like left-wing ideology, then that's what they do. They actually don't have any sincere beliefs in anything at all. And I think that's what separates them from, say, Graham Linehan and from J.K. Rowling. Graham Linehan does believe what he's saying, but that makes him a fucking lunatic. You know, he is so...
Yeah, but a lunatic can be far more dangerous. That's the problem.
I don't know.
Like that. Who's that
honestly,
horrible fucking...
Honestly, I'm not sure which ones are more dangerous because people look at Graham Linehan and he is just a lunatic. I mean, he is just like, and going further and further and further, he becomes more unhinged by the day. My prediction for Graham Linehan, it's one of two things. He's either going to end, you're right, it's either going to be self-destruction. He's going to self-destruct so profoundly that he actually self-destructs, or he's going to be either actively or tangentially involved in something so horrible that he has no choice but to retreat, you know?
What, you mean like some sort of protest terrorism or
something like that? Yeah, that would be my guess, yeah.
I mean, the problem with Linehan is the fact that he's got the stepping stone, like the back pedal of a platform. So people will say, "Oh, yeah, there's that fucking that case." But he's been seen at that Posey Parker's fucking rallies and sort of things like that, and she's got the platform. So if he seemed to be like sort of on the fringes of that, so he's not quite as redundant as he should be.
No, it's definitely true. I mean, it's a sickness. It's actually a wider sickness outside of the debate on trans rights and whatnot. It's a wider sickness in British culture, which is we keep allowing not only ignoramite, people who know nothing about what they're talking about, by the way, but also actively hostile bigots and assholes, narcissists and psychopaths, platforms. We keep allowing them platforms in our media, in our culture, in our politics. It's like, well, what fucking qualification? There needs to be, in this culture, we need to have an entire reconsideration of what free speech actually means. There needs to be, especially if you have a large public platform, there needs to be a reconsideration of minimum standards for debate, right? Minimum fucking standards. You don't get to become an ideologue talking about something that you have no qualifications in, that you have no experience of, and you know nothing fucking about, right? That needs to be the minimum standards. And I don't care about your fucking free speech. It doesn't work like that. You don't get to talk about and have an immediate platform for any subject you fucking want. I use this example on Twitter. Let's say you stumble into a symposia of eminent neurosurgeons who've been doing the job for their entire fucking lives. You don't automatically sort of elbow your way up to the table and start spouting your ignorant fucking opinion. The only thing you can do in that situation is dilute the discourse. So what do you do if you are sane? If you are in any way considered, you turn around and you fuck off with good grace, right?
Yeah. Now, Lawrence Fox's post that really irked me was spouted bullshit, a little bit of drool, blah, blah, blah. And right down the bottom there was 2 words, and I shared it on Facebook, and I'm surprised I didn't get my account suspended. And it was just 2 words at the bottom, right, which was "fuck pride." Yeah, it was something. Yeah. It was something about the. That's right. Don't expect me to go into your shops if you've got this banner sort of flying, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not going to agree with Lawrence Fox, right? But one thing I will say is I do find the latching on to pride for commercial value thing a little bit sickening.
That's one of the problems that has become of pride. I mean, this is like a separate discussion, but this is actually this is a problem that does need to be discussed. What has happened with pride? It should, in its at its most idealized form, and by the way, it's more necessary now at the present than ever. Whether there is corporate backing, whether there is sort of like a business angle or not, it is more necessary now than ever. That it has been in my lifetime. I would argue it's more necessary than it has ever been. However, one of the big problems is that it has become commodified, and the commodification of pride has wider ranging implications. It softens it, it cushions it, it takes away its teeth,
dilutes it.
It dilutes it, right? At its most ideal and at its most effective, pride is an organizing principle. It is a protest, right? That's what it was at the beginning. That's what it should be, and increasingly that's what we need it to be.
Yeah. Well, you better be careful, otherwise they'll make pride illegal.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the there are lots of issues around it. Like there was a thing that was happening. I think it was last year or the year before. We had some pricks, who are having a go at like kink at Pride, for example, like kink communities at Pride. I can't take my kids to that. Well, don't bring your fucking kids then.
Don't bring your kids. Yeah.
Don't bring your fucking kids. This is at the root of the problem. Pride is our space. Okay. Pride is our space. Sorry, it doesn't belong to straight people. It doesn't belong to cisgender people. It belongs to us. It's one of the very few fucking spaces in culture that does. And if you don't like it, fuck off.
Unless your child, who very well could be at 8 years old, acknowledges inherently what their sexuality is or whatever, don't bring your kid.
Yeah, but beyond that, my big argument is, you know what? Your kids see worse every single day. You just don't realize it. You don't realize it because heteronormativity is so prescribed in culture. And not only that, but heteronormative sexuality is so prescribed in culture. You see, pick up any Marvel comic, look at the female characters. Yeah. They are dressed in if they're dressed at all, are in very revealing bondage gear, like imagery that's derived from bondage, right? Look at any advert for, say, perfume or chocolate or whatever. There is often highly sexualized imagery in that stuff, in cartoons, in everything. You just don't realize it. You just don't realize because it's normalized.
Yes. Now, I was having a conversation with somebody, I think it was Jen, a couple of weeks back, where we were talking about adverts that we may or may not remember. I said, I was talking to one of my work colleagues. I said, do you remember the milk tray adverts?
Right.
No. I said, don't remember. I said, the milk tray adverts was some fucking bullshit sort of stalker bastard. I said, who would hijack a helicopter, break into some woman's room while she's in the shower. I said, leave her a box of chocolates. I said, and then fuck off again. I said, that's not the creepiest thing in the world. Well, so I got to watch a few of these milk tray adverts, and she went, these aren't real. These are fucking real. Related to that, do you remember the Cadbury's Flake adverts? Yes. I mentioned that as well. I said, the woman in the bath, I said, she's eating the Flake. I said, basically getting herself off to this chocolate bar. You have shorthand in those adverts for a woman orgasming. You get a close-up on the eye that dilates, right? Yeah. And said, the tap that's overflowing over the sides of the bath. It's like, and these adverts ran at any time of the day. There was no like
limit on them. And the reason they were able to run is because they were heteronormative, right?
Yeah, exactly. I said the water lapping over the side of the bath. I said they were in no way subtle in their approach.
You will not see, certainly at the daytime versions of Pride, you will not see anything. Even in the kink communities, you will see nothing as overt as that. Nothing. Absolutely exactly. Nothing. So, you know, if you're worried about what your kids see at Pride, you're gonna have to stop them from reading comic books, certainly superhero comic books. Yeah. You're gonna have to stop them watching the Marvel films because the costumes exist in those as well, as does the shorthand. You're gonna have to stop them watching the cartoons because it's all in those too. You're gonna have to stop them watching adverts because it's all over those as well. Wrestling, I mean, just so much. You're gonna have to like cushion your child from fucking everything if that's your concern. But let's be real.
It's not the concern.
It's not. No, it's not. This is the other thing. You need to look past the euphemisms, as you always do with these fucking arseholes. They never speak to you straight, ironically. They never speak straight because they know they can't. What they're really saying is, we prefer the queer people to be invisible again. We'd like them to go back in the fucking closet, not talk about it, and ideally just die somewhere. That would be ideal. When you extrapolate it to its ultimate implications, it is a genocidal argument. They don't like it put that way because very often they don't even realize that that's the case. You know, they're that fucking thick. They don't consider anything that comes out of their mouths. They don't realize that that is the ultimate implication, but it is. Whether they know it or not, whether they like it or not, that is the truth.
And it comes back to those two words from Fox's thread. Fuck Pride. And it caught me unawares because, as you know, this is me we're talking about, and it takes almost an insurmountable amount of effort to offend me, right? Because
fuck Pride is a way of saying it's that euphemism. It's a way of actually saying fuck queer people. Just fuck queer people. Let them all die. That's what I mean. The funny thing about Fox is he's not sincere. He doesn't believe that. That's the weird thing. He doesn't actually believe that, but he is aware of his audience, of the kind of worthless arsehole that follows Lawrence Fox. He is aware of how stupid they are. He is aware of how bigoted they are. And he knows that it's like Pavlov's dogs, right? It's like the ringing bell. He knows when he says shit like that, it stirs them up. And they are so stupid. They're so ill-considered that they don't understand that when they react, when they feel that sort of frisson, when he says stuff like that they're conditioned to, and that it's not a matter of truth. It's just what they feel. It's reinforcing something in them, you know? Ironically, these are the same kind of arseholes who will talk about, identity politics. It's the very definition of identity politics, what they experience when they're listening to arseholes like Lawrence Fox. It's the very definition of it.
I was reminded, and I think I out called him as such when I replied. I'm reminded of like the Quislings of the Second World War, and the sort of the people who would turn on others. Either in their own communities or not, in order to sort of secure their own existence and that. And you're seeing a lot of this in the LGB.
In the queer community.
I'm going to say LGB for now, even though it's not fully encompassing. You're seeing a lot of that in that community.
Yeah, you are. You're absolutely
under the
right.
Impression that if they fucking help gang up on the trans people, that these people aren't going to come for them afterwards.
Exactly.
Look at it and think, you've got fucking short memories.
Yes, you've got short memories, and also you're just accommodationist wankers, aren't you? These are the people they're the ones who say stuff like they're okay. They're not like those queers over there. The ones who are on Grindr all the time and are highly sexualized. Oh no, we're not like them. We're like you. We're like the straight people. Look, we're married. Look, we've got an adopted child. It's one of the problems actually that's come as a result of our general acceptance since the 1990s. It's the other side of the double-edged sword of things like gay marriage coming through. Now, don't get me wrong. Gay marriage, same-sex marriage should be absolutely a right. It should be a universal, absolute right in every culture, right? It's just, insofar as I'm concerned, where there isn't obvious abuse or coercion or a victim, any dynamic of human beings should be allowed, and there should be a mechanism for it to facilitate it in society, because each individual relationship is its own thing. It's its own phenomenon. And people love love and experience relationships in different ways. That's the way it is. But one of the double-edged swords of that, one of the problems with that is we have become like more sanitized. We have become, there is this almost like accommodationist movement from within the queer culture where people have started to act like straight people, and as though that's a good thing. You know, it's like, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You are still the queers, love. By our very nature, you are always going to be that. And it doesn't matter how much you accommodate, you're going to be on the trains along with the rest of us. You are.
Yeah. I mean, exactly that. I mean, the reason I say you people have got fucking short memories is because, you know, they lived through Section 28.
Yeah.
And I go back to this time and time again as an example. I remember very, very, very vividly the AIDS crisis thing of like sort of the mid 80s, 86, 87, blah, blah, blah. And I was 6 or 7 years old. And I had a very, very good understanding of what was going on there because my parents raised me and ran a gay pub in Southend.
Yeah, that's right.
That pub is still there today, thank God. It's at the time Teddy Taylor, the Conservative MP, who was, I think he's dead now, thank God, who was a nasty, vile piece of shit, was actively trying to get the fucking pub shut down and that. And my parents and the brewery fucking fought back and they wiped the floor with them. Right? I think you'd have to ask my mum for details on that, but I think there was even like sort of rumblings in the national press. This fucking pub needs to be shut down, sort of blah blah, and then wipe the floor with them. And I remember the sort of scaremongering amongst the straight community, and that which obviously bullshit because you're talking about the gay disease and that. Well, why are you telling the straights about that then? If you honestly think it's a gay disease, why?
What does it matter, right?
Yeah, the great big black monolith in like sort of the dry ice falling down onto the floor and sort of. And I remember all this, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm 43 now. I was 6 years old then, right? I remember this vividly. How come you cunts don't?
Well, this is the funny thing, isn't it? I'm even younger than you. I was born in 1984, so I wasn't even sapient when this was happening, really. I knew nothing of it when I was a kid. I knew absolutely fuck all. But I know enough. I've actually gone and researched my own fucking history, you know, and I know enough of the arguments that were being made back then in the popular press and from our enemies, the people who wanted us exterminated, to know that the exact same distortions and exaggerations and out bullshit are being used against trans people. Here's the funny thing. Before like the last half a decade, trans people weren't even an issue, were they?
No.
Isn't it funny, right? That's crept up, hasn't it? And the reason like it's not been an issue is because they're not. They're just not. The trans community threaten fucking no one.
I'd say this. I'm going to use inverted quotation marks here, even though you can't see it. I'm going to use this moral panic thing, saying that this has really only really come to light and really become prevalent. I'd say since just after the pandemic started. Yes,
and there is something to be said for that. You know, what you're seeing here is almost like a transference of trauma. That's what I think you're seeing on a cultural level. You're seeing a kind of transference of culture-wide trauma. So, and the UK has been through a lot of them over the last like decade or so, and it kind of it's like it can't function without having some kind of scapegoat to heap all of that pain onto, to blame for, you know. There needs to be a microcosm somewhere of all of that pain and abuse, and it's decided to go for trans people, who are one of the smallest demographics, by the way, in the UK, one of the most diffuse, and also one of the most harmless. If you look at any record of anything at all, they are one of the most harmless. In fact, they are far more likely to be the victims of violent crime of all kinds than anything else, you know, certainly than its perpetrators. You look at other countries which have, by the way, allowed for completely in their legal systems self-identification, self-ID, that have universal toilets, you know, genderless toilets and whatnot, and there's not an issue at all. There's not an issue at all.
I can go even further. I'd say since the pandemic started, I can actually whittle this down now. Now that you said that, I can narrow the timeline down even further. Is when the Scots decided to bring out that gender recognition bill.
Yeah.
Which was only in the last 12 months. Gender in the last 12 months, things have fucking snowballed here.
Yeah. And isn't it funny? Like all of the, these assholes, these movements that proclaim to be feminists. I say they proclaim to be feminists because they're fucking not. They've never read. It's very clear when you read like J.K. Rowling, for example. She's never read any of the original feminists. It's so fucking clear because the part, like, not just part of the project of the original feminists, but the core of their project was liberating women from the shackles of their biology and anatomy, and no one represents that more clearly than trans women and trans men. Nobody represents that more.
I'm just going to call out a slight amusing side of hypocrisy for J.K. Rowling there. The very same woman who is arguing about, women are women and men are men, you can't have one, is the same woman who pseudo wrote under the name of a man to try and sell her series of crime books, which weren't very, very well received. And when she turned around and went, "Oh, actually, I wrote those," suddenly the sales fucking went up. Right, I've got even less fucking time for that hack. Right, I read the Harry Potter books. Yeah, they were all right for what they were. I don't think she was the fucking the second coming when it came to fucking literature.
Definitely not. I mean, I will go to bat for this. When I was 19, before anybody knew, before she'd expressed anything about her transphobia or anything like that, I still hated the fucking Harry Potter books. I hated them from the very beginning, before it was fashionable. All right,
before it was fashionable. But you were the trendsetter.
Absolutely. I remember having arguments at school with people because I was raised on fantasy. I'd read C.S. Lewis, I'd read Alan Garner, I'd read J.R. Tolkien, I'd read Ursula K. Le Guin, the Earthsea series. I was well steeped. I'd read Anne McCaffrey. I was well steeped in this stuff and mythology around that. So I remember reading the Harry Potter books because everyone was going nuts about them and thinking, what? Why are people like? They're fine. There's nothing like overtly wrong with them, but I've read this before. The notion of like the wizard school or the witches school where people go. There was a series in the 1980s called The Worst Witch, which was about exactly this. It was exactly this dynamic. And better, by the way. The Worst Witch is way, way better than Harry Potter and also has much more progressive and considered politics than Harry Potter does. I never got it. I never understood the phenomena of it. And I really hated elements of it. So I remember having an argument at school with people about how fascist those books are, which they fucking are. I mean, Harry grows up to be a cop. I mean, the wizarding equivalent of a cop. So, yeah, it's absolutely fascist. I remember having an argument with a girl in one of my history classes where we were talking about the whole thing with the elves, how they are a slave race in that book. They are a slave race. And Rowling outright uses the language and the arguments that slavers actually did in the real world, which is, they like being slaves.
Yeah.
It's like, are you fucking serious?
Then you've got the very Jewish goblins in charge of
Right. Are you fucking serious? But that's before you even get into her naming conventions, by the way. Whenever there's like an ethnic character, what's the black guy called? He's called like something Shacklebolt, isn't he? And it's like, are you fucking serious, Jacob?
Do you know what? I would have to go back and read them again. I'm really pleased don't make me do that.
There's the Irish kid. There's the Irish kid. His name is Seamus, and he blows things up.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Okay.
But anyway, we're getting off topic. We could go into like how.
Yeah, I mean, we can just draw a line under it. And
I have done it before. I mean, just to get it out of the way, the big thing I hate about Harry Potter has got nothing to do with its politics. It's the way it treats magic. Insofar as I'm concerned, if there is magic in your mythology, then it should be. At its most ideal, at its essence, it's something to change the world with, right? It's necessarily miraculous. It's a suspension of reality or a perversion of reality. Rowling treats it like it's a toy for privileged kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the kids from Hogwarts, one of the reasonably gifted kids from Hogwarts, like Hermione, for example, could solve all of the problems that exist in the non-wizarding world on her own. She could turn desert into rainforest. She could, transform like wasteland into orchards, just like that, but they don't.
Yeah.
Because it actually, I say it's outside of her politics. It's not. Actually, this does go back to J.K. Rowling's politics. She considers herself to be a liberal, although she is moving very, very far and very, very fast to the right, in the sense that she doesn't believe in systemic evil. Like liberals don't, centrists don't. She thinks that the systems are fine. It's bad people in the systems who are the problem. And that's what you get in Harry Potter. That's what you get expressed through Harry Potter. Oh, the systems are okay. Oh, there's nothing wrong with the wizarding world. It's just evil people in the wizarding world. No, there are fucking fundamental problems that you identify in your own work, but you just can't see them. She's not a clever person. That's the irony. People think because she's a billionaire and because she's written this series of books, she's actually considered or clever, or she has a platform for this stuff. She's not. She's really, really, really not. There are elements, both of the books and of her own discourses, that are so fucking brainless. So fucking brainless. And quite frankly, it's biblical insofar as I'm concerned. You know them by the company they keep. And she increasingly is keeping the company of not only right-wing ideologues, really, I mean, some of them who identify as active fascists, like Matt Walsh, for example.
Oh, good old Matt Walsh.
Also, active misogynists, people who want women to be brood mares and sex slaves.
What, you mean like that Posey Parker cunt?
Right, so it's like, oh yeah, much feminist, JK. Well done there, much feminist, by the way. Bravo.
Yeah. There was, do you know what? I'm just going to draw a line under this, ladies and gentlemen. This is your opportunity to quickly go and get a cup of tea, or something like that. I'm going to do the same, and when I come back, I've got a couple of things which I think you might be interested in. So, George, if you want to grab a coffee or something like that, now's the time to...
Cool, I'll go and do that. Okay.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of this discussion with George. George, I'm going to throw something out, and I want your expert opinion on this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, expert, quote unquote.
Quote unquote. You, when I thought of this, this is why I approached you for it, because I thought you would be the best person to talk on this. So I'm going to use the age-old quote of taking Star Trek as an example. Keep your politics out of Star Trek, right? Now.
Yeah, right. Out of the socialist utopia. Keep your politics out of it. All right.
Now, with that in mind, right, horror and sci-fi have, for me, been the best genres to challenge social preconceptions and sort of use as a backdrop to talk about discussions of the day, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
absolutely.
The Star Trek community has this like sort of strange undercurrent of conservative viewers who will spout that keep your politics out of Star Trek.
I have no idea how that happens. I mean, you have to be. If you are sincere, and that's the thing for me, it always comes down to sincerity. The people who say shit like that, for the most part, they cannot be sincere.
I think they're just incredibly stupid, or very, very blinkered.
Level, if that's true, that level of stupidity, you shouldn't be engaging with any kind of fiction anyway. You haven't got the means.
There's a huge fucking I've seen arguments blow up on Twitter, left, right, and centre about shit like this, and people who've come back with that exact thing, like, have you been watching the same fucking show for the last 60 years that we have been? Well, the
thing is, no art is apolitical. No art is apolitical. There is no such thing. You cannot remove art from the context in which it was created. You cannot remove art from the preconceptions and the ideologies of the people who observe it. That's where meaning occurs, It's absolutely impossible. Every art, even that which makes absolute efforts to remove itself from the politics of its era, is political, whether it likes it or not. Take The Lord of the Rings, for example. The Lord of the Rings is a great example of this. Now, Tolkien always said that he hated allegory, right? He always said in interviews that he tried to make an apolitical piece of work. Sorry, mate, but you failed in that regard, because you can't make an apolitical piece of work. Look at all the references in The Lord of the Rings to his experiences in World War II. World War I, rather, all the stuff, he was actually there at the Battle of the Somme. He was there. He was physically there. And you see references to it all the way through, particularly in the Dead Marshes section, which is infamous, You can't escape it. Even if you intend it, you will unconsciously do it. So, there's nothing you can do about that.
So the Star Trek community, as I said, has this conservative, sort of river running through it, right?
Yeah.
Does the horror community suffer the same issues? And if so, how is queer horror sort of pushing back against that?
It's really interesting because there is always going to be that really vocal contingent of conservative voices in any of these mediums and genres because they've always been predominated by them, right? It's even if that's intentional or not, that has been the way it is. It's always largely been white straight guys who get the big contracts, who are the kind of gatekeepers of these genres, if you like. However, I will say this for horror. Horror has been more welcoming, I believe, of that transition, of that opening up, than arguably any genre out there. I know for a fact that there were real issues amongst science fiction and in fantasy when queer voices started to seep in. Horror is generally embraced it massively so, and I don't know whether that's something innate to horror, whether it's because it has always been about transgression, but about violating social mores, if you like, or bringing them into question. I don't know whether it's because of that or whether it's something to do with the history of horror, because even if you look at the established voices in horror, the ones who are its historical saints, if you like, people like Mary Shelley, for example, who wrote Frankenstein, she was queer. She was she was bisexual, hung around with a lot of very, 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 very queer people indeed, including her husband, Percy, and also Byron, right? Byron was a libertine. He was openly omnisexual, I don't know why horror in particular, but it's been massively embracing of queer voices to the point where by now I would say all of the really interesting stuff in horror is happening amongst queer writers. It really is. That's not. And by the way, I don't want to set up some dynamic here. I don't want to set up some dynamic of opposition. It's not to say that the straight and cisgender writers in horror don't have anything interesting to say anymore. They do. They absolutely do. But their voices are being improved by having this influx of other voices and other concerns and other contexts. The whole genre is efflorescing. What's fascinating to me is where it's efflorescing. So if you go into mainstream bookstores like Waterstones or whatever, you're just going to see all the same voices. You're going to see Stephen King, you're going to see Ramsey Campbell, and you're going to see Clive Barker, who is a queer writer, who's a gay writer, but he's still kind of one of those old saints of horror, if you like, one of the big voices. However, if you look in small press and independent circles, that's where it's all happening. That's where you're going to see all of these new names and voices occurring. You're going to see people like Hailey Piper. You're going to see people like Paula D'Ash. You're going to see people like Laura Mauro. All of James Bennett, Mark Allen Gunnels. All of these voices that are very, very unusual within the genre and who are using horror to express fundamentally queer concerns and to explore what those concerns are. The result of that is horror has just expanded. It's like this embarrassment of riches at the moment. If you go on to the evil empire of Amazon, or if you go into basically any online bookstore and type in horror short story collection or horror short story anthology, you will be inundated. You will be absolutely inundated with material. Now, some of it won't be very good. A lot of it won't be very good. But amongst them, you will find stories you've never heard before, never read before, never seen before, exploring concerns that you've never come across in mainstream horror before. And that's what's happening.
You took part in a horror anthology yourself, didn't you?
A couple. I've been in a couple, yeah. But there was one last year, the Book of Queer Saints, yeah. And that was really interesting because that was it's actually really complex as a result of the the efflorescence of queer voices within horror, there are now concerns and even conflicts within queer horror itself, and that's what that was a response to. So what you're getting within queer horror is this conflict of voices. There are those of us like myself, and I definitely fall down on this side, where we say, you know what, if we're going to do it, we need to do it sincerely, and we need to explore every aspect of our experience and our identities, and that includes the negative sides. That includes the stuff that straight culture would probably condemn. So it's like it's the random hookups on Grindr. It's all of that, right? It's all of that stuff that is problematic about identifying as gay or as queer or as trans or whatever. If you're going to do it, you need to do it sincerely, and you need to explore everything that makes you what you are. You don't have to create these pure as the driven snow cartoon characters, because that's a lie, right? Yeah. That's a lie. That ironically, I believe, robs us of our humanity in exactly the same way as like homophobic arguments do. I think there's an internalized homophobia inherent when you have people from within our own community saying, "Oh, you're engaging in negative representation," because you have these like gay characters, for example, who are hypersexualized, who sleep with a lot of people. It's like, well, yeah, we kind of do. Not all of us, but a lot of us do. You know, this is our experience. If that's the writer's experience, then fuck off. The bottom line is fuck off. People can write what they like. They can write whatever they fucking like. You don't get to tell people. You don't get to finger wag. You actually don't get to tell people this is not your experience or this is what you should not be writing about. But that is actually happening as a result of so many queer voices just efflorescing across horror and across sci-fi now, by the way. There's a lot of, really good queer sci-fi out there now. I read a short story collection a few years back called Brave Boy World, which is... it's a collection of science fiction short stories authored by trans men.
Okay.
And it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic because it's using science fiction tropes and concepts to explore the identity of being trans, or exploring the notion of gender identity itself. And that's brilliant. I mean, what better, right? What better? Yeah. I mean, horror has that element too, because obviously there are elements innate to horror where you can explore that. There are liminal entities within horror, things like vampires and werewolves and whatnot, that are liminal by nature, right? That shift between states. It's all there. It's all innate. But it's a conflict that is arising within the queer community, within horror. And what I say to those who are sort of lambasting those of us for writing what they consider to be negative representation, because it's honest, because it explores the negative aspects, or the less, not negative, no, that's the wrong word, the less salubrious aspects of being queer. What I would say is they are engaging in accommodationist, internalized homophobia, whether they know it or not. What they're saying, actually, underneath the concern is we should be dishonest so as to appease straight readers, and it's like, no, sorry, no. I'm not excluding straight readers here. That is not the point, but it is not written for them. You know?
Yeah. I mean, do you think there's do you think that's the reason why sort of the conservative undercurrent hasn't embedded itself to that degree in horror as much as sci-fi has, because there's so much kickback, there's so much.
I think it's difficult. Yeah, I think it's very difficult for them to do so in horror, because by its very nature it's transgressive, right? It's very, very hard. There is conservative horror, don't get me wrong. There definitely is right-wing horror out there. Interestingly, a lot of right-wing horror isn't created by right-wing people. I mean, take Halloween, for example, the first Halloween film made by John Carpenter, who is liberal as all get out, left-wing as all get out, but it is a very, very, very conservative right-wing horror film. Just is, and it doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that it's bad at all. It just means that those are the concerns he was exploring in that piece of work. But it is, I would say, increasingly difficult to be right-wing in horror, and good. Fuck them. The more we can exclude those voices, the better, insofar as I'm concerned. And that's largely because they pervade so much of the rest of our discourses and our cultures and our politics and our systems. There need to be spaces where they are told to fuck off or be quiet.
Yeah. And life is generally horrific enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the minute as it is. Yeah. It's a very, very strange mindset to have. It's something I've never. I want to understand it. I can dissect it easier. I find it very, very hard to spend more than 30 seconds on it without getting really, honestly, quite wound up. Well,
I am so made that I cannot accommodate it. Rowan. Our mutual friend Rowan Fortune would have said of my short story collection, Strange Playgrounds. He said, George is. What were the words he used? He is fundamentally opposed to conservatism. He can't allow for it. It's like corrosive to him. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I think conservatism is evil in and of itself. And I've had a lot of centrists and liberals and whatnot come to me and say, "Oh, well, you can't say that. Surely you just mean the extreme forms of right-wingism." I was like, no, I don't. I actually mean right-wing ideology, not just politics, but conservatism itself. I think is evil. I think conservatism is actually a synonym for corrosion of humanity.
And it seems to be doing so well.
Absolutely. And it's not like an unfounded bias or anything like that. It's because of when I was born, what I've lived through, and my identity, right? I was born, like yourself, into the heights of Thatcherism, right? We have seen nothing but the fucking evils of right-wing ideology through the Blair government, which was as right-wing as a Labour Party could possibly be, right? And through everything that's come after. And we have seen nothing but the decay that it fosters, the inhumanity, the corrosion of everything that could possibly be good, right?
Yeah,
that's exactly all we've seen. And we've seen nothing good come from it. Nothing. I mean, absolutely not one thing. There is nothing. If you are someone in this country, so over the last, it's been effectively a right-wing situation that we've been in since we were born.
Since we were born, yeah.
Since we were born. Name me one thing that those movements have done that's good, that's progressive, that's positive, that has actually made things better for humanity in that time.
The aqueduct.
The aqueduct. Yeah, but it's true, isn't it? There is nothing. There is.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I used to sing a little song to myself occasionally, where it was just like a nice little ditty, blah, blah, and the words were, "It's all just a little bit shit. It's all just a little bit grim." Yeah, because that's generally what it is. I mean, I'm the optimist in me, the ever hopeful optimist, would like to believe that at some stage the cultural shift is going to go to such a degree that people go, hang on, no, this is too far along.
Oh, it is. It's happening now. I mean, it's happening now.
The more and more people stand up and go, no, hang on a minute, the bigger the pushback. So you take one step forward and go, hang on, no, then it's 3 steps back.
Yeah, for me, it's generational. If you look at the generations below ours now, they're looking at this anti-trans movement, which, by the way, is almost exclusively, not entirely, but almost exclusively, and certainly predominantly
targeted at them.
It's targeted at them. Right. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because they've grown up with queer parents, queer uncles, queer cousins, queer friends. They've got trans friends at school, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're harmless. What are you talking about? They're not having it. And I think that's also part of the anti-trans movement. It is this last gasp of a very particular generational conservatism that it's thrashing about itself. The genie's out of the bottle. That's the other thing. The genie's out of the bottle. You can't put it back. We've already had it. We've already had the experience, the freedom of being able to say, yeah, I'm gay. Yeah, I'm queer. Yeah, I'm trans. You can't put it back in. It's impossible now.
Yeah. It's I'm gonna close this fantastic conversation down on one thing, which pissed me off again on Twitter, which just seems to be just like the perfect fucking hub for it at the moment.
Yeah, well, Twitter's an interesting one because Twitter's a microcosm. it's not always indicative of reality. You can sort of use it as a gauge sometimes to see what certain groups are fomenting or what they actually are promoting out there.
I haven't had my Twitter handle suspended yet, which is surprising because if you want to gauge reality, we're going to talk about one man's sort of loose grasp of it, and that's good old Muskie boy, right?
Oh, Elon,
put up a status that said cisgender and cis are slurs on this platform, and anyone using them will be blah 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 blah.
They're scientific terms. They're actual biological anatomical terms, right?
Exactly.
So I'm cisgender. You're cisgender. Yeah. We're cis males, right? Yeah. I'm a cis gay man. You're a cis bi guy, right?
Yeah. So I responded to him. And it's like anyone who uses these will be blah 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 blah, because they're offensive. And I responded, I'm a cis bi male. I don't need some Halloween mask wearing half-eaten fucking chicken nugget telling me what's offensive.
Exactly. Right? Yes.
I decide what's offensive for me, and normally, more often than not, weirdly enough, it's billionaires with little to no grasp on reality.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I mean, it's indicative of the mindset of people like... that's why I bought Twitter, of course. It's why I bought Twitter, because Twitter, by and large, right-wing people get taken the fuck down. They get ripped to shreds because they are so wholly ignorant about almost everything they talk about. They get torn to shreds, and they don't like it. They want dominance over every platform, every area of society. They don't want to be questioned. When they say free speech, what they mean is free speech for them, none for anyone else, right? Yeah. That's why I bought it. That's why so many left-wing channels and feeds and platforms have been completely shut down on Twitter since he took over, right? But the right-wing ones, they can get away with, for example, burning pride flags and whatnot. You know, he's a prick. I mean, he is not a friend of anyone. He is a billionaire prick who has, you know, just like all billionaires, completely useless at what he does, by the way, completely tanked Twitter on a purely technical level from the moment he took it over.
It's stock dropped rapidly, and he's removing any and all references to other I wouldn't say left wing, but left leaning sort of alternative platforms for people.
It's all they can do. It's all they can do because they know they're fucked. They know they've got nowhere ideologically to stand. They were people like Elon were born to privilege. They fucked up everything they've touched because they've never had the experiences that actual people have that make them into better people, right? That make them transcend themselves. They've never had that because they've been cushioned and coddled from every fucking which way. They bought into the bullshit of the people around them who were being paid to say, oh, you're a genius. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're so wonderful. When in fact, they are ignorami. They are big, spoiled brat children.
Yeah,
that's what they are.
It's painful from the outside looking in. It's painful to watch. I mean, I see the daily abuse that trans activists like Katie Montgomery puts up with on a daily basis. On Twitter, and she's fantastic. She calls out every single one of them, shares their tweet, and goes, "You're a fucking idiot." It's like sort of people who took a photo of hers and then photoshopped it so she's got a beard. And like, this is what she really looks like. It's like, no, it's not. That's not what she looks like. But people trying to score points somehow by proving a point that's, you know, unproven. You can't make that point because it doesn't exist. I watch it going around in circles, and I think to myself, I don't know how people are surviving.
No, it's pretty amazing. I mean, like, a lot of trans people aren't. That's the dirty, nasty thing. I mean, in this culture,
and now they're talking about withholding or withdrawing medical care in this country as well.
What it is genocide by the back door. Yeah, it's genocide by the back door. So many youth are going to die over this. They're going to die. They're going to be
suicide rates are going to go through the roof.
Yeah.
And this
on top
whole
of that,
new thing about where you've got to, if you're not allowed to come out unless you have your parents' permission while you're at school.
Any queer person who sees that and does not recoil in horror, and I mean absolute horror, is a fuckwit. Is an absolute fuckwit who knows nothing about our history, right? parents, families, what this is going to do, it's going to destroy the lives of not just trans youth, it's going to destroy the lives of queer youth across the board. It absolutely is.
As you know, I work in supported accommodation services for young people, right? And we take our referrals through the council, and it's we have like sort of different social groups come to us, blah, blah, blah. Services like mine are not set up to deal with the influx of people from the trans community who are going to be needing accommodation-based services because of laws coming into effect. Like
because of this, right? Because of this.
There aren't enough emergency shelters. And then again, there aren't enough emergency shelters for women fleeing domestic violence. No. But there aren't shelters specifically set up for that. The infrastructure isn't there to accommodate the shitstorm that they're about to bring on, which obviously I can't help feeling is intentional.
It's part of the point. It is a kind of stochastic genocide, isn't it? That's what they're going for. But it's as I say, generationally, this is going to come back on them. This is like the kids are all right by and large. They know about this shit. They know way more than their elders do. I can fucking tell you that much. And they are like, what the fuck is going on? Why? Yeah. What is this? This is nonsense, right?
Yeah, we've seen it before. We saw it in the 80s. Before that, it was I guess the last major shift before that was when homosexuality was decriminalised.
Yeah, right.
And then it came around in the 80s, and it's come around again. And it's just like I don't think once you've had your trans assault, and then but bear in mind after this, give it another 10 years of constant fucking assault, it'll be like, oh yeah, the trans people are fine.
Absolutely, yes. When it stops being profitable, right? When it stops being useful for certain movements, that's when it will stop, right? And people will wake up from this fever dream and realize, actually there was no problem in the beginning. You know, there was no problem at all. We knew there was no problem because we were experiencing life up to the point where people started making it a problem or promoting it as a problem, and we didn't notice anything, right?
Hit a peak, and then suddenly downhill again. And I give it another 25 years after that when they decide to start rallying around the next fucking problem.
Whatever the next scapegoat is. Whatever the next scapegoat
is going to be, I don't think we're going to survive it. I don't think... Because I'll be honest with you, people have only got so much patience. People have only got so much sort of fight in them before it wears you down, before it gets tiring. And I don't know that people have got it in them to go round once again on the same fucking merry-go-round.
Well, this is part of the thing, isn't it? At this point, we should know. At this point, it's the emperor's new clothes, right? This is what the right always do, because they have nothing sincere, because they have no foundation from which to operate. All they've got are aesthetics. That's all they've ever had. That's all they've ever had. There's never been any actual fundamental ideology beyond making like the privileged more privileged and the underprivileged less privileged. That's all it's ever been. That's the fundamental. So the only place they've got to go is scapegoating. Oh, right. It's not like us that are causing all the problems of society. It's not like the born to privilege fuckwits like Boris Johnson or whatever. It's that person over there. It's the people on boats. It's the immigrants. It's the refugees.
Oh, yes, all the boats.
It's the transes. It's this. It's that. It's the queer people. People who are largely harmless, right? That's all they've got. It's distractionary politics. You know, it's Machiavellian. It's distraction. Oh, look at the birdie. Look at the birdie. Look over there. Don't look over here. Guys, if you're listening, do you know who your enemies actually fucking are? People like Rupert Murdoch, people like Nigel Farage, people like Boris Johnson. They are your enemies. The people who proclaim to talk for you, even though they would not know anything about your experience at all, because they were all born to positions of absolute privilege and power. They are your enemies, and they are the ones you should be targeting.
I mean, I could have it wrong, but it kind of feels like it swaps. It goes back and forth between race and then gender, politics, stroke sexuality. So the blacks and the gays, then
any demographic.
Anyone from the Middle East, and then now it's the trans. So the next one, what do you reckon? The Inuits or something like that?
It's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, it could be travelers. You know, it could be that community. It could be. Yeah. It could be, but they will do it. I mean, because that's all they have. It's all they have. And when it's not fashionable or popular to do it to trans people anymore, they'll do it to someone else. Who will it be? They'll move away from the queer community. They'll know better by that point. They'll move away from the queer community. So my guess is it'll either be a religious minority or an ethnic minority or something like that. Because of course, obviously in the late 1990s, early 2000s, it was Muslims, wasn't it? You know.
Yeah, definitely in the 2000s. Yeah, I'd say it really ramped up thereabouts. Yeah. Yeah. So
they need an enemy because that's all they've got. They haven't got anything real. There's nothing ideologically solid at all. There's just scapegoating and distraction. That's all they have. And they know, sadly, it's our fault. Collectively, it's our fault. You get the systems and the politics that you fucking deserve, quite frankly. We keep buying into it collectively. We keep buying into it. And we and not only that, we keep promoting it. It's like with Boris Johnson at the moment, you know, in this culture. He is one of the worst human beings alive, one of the worst human beings who has ever lived. And you still get working class people who are so slave-minded, you know, who have bought into that ideology, that historical ideology of the serfs and the masters, even when they don't realize it. Boris is our man.
He's just like us. What you mean? He's a horrible cunt. If that's what you identify with, then that's what you are. I guess.
Honestly,
it's horrible.
No patience. People like that deserve every abuse they get. They deserve it.
Yeah, I will close this out by saying, ladies and gentlemen, if you're seeing something out there that doesn't sit right with you, challenge it.
Yeah, challenge it.
Because the more you stay silent, the more that these undercurrents of just like vitriol and violence are allowed to like sort of spread. If you see something that doesn't sit right with you, challenge it. I think that's.
Well, I don't know about you, Jer, but like there was a time when I wouldn't have said boo to a goose. You know, I was quite sort of like. You know,
no, I would have. See, the thing is, I've never known when to shut my fucking mouth.
Right.
I've got better at learning to pick my battles. But ask Dave Mallam, right? Dave will tell you, right, that one of the reasons I got the shit kicked out of me so often at school was because I didn't know when to shut the fuck up. Right?
Well, I've gone the other way. I was very demurring once upon a time, but that has changed. Oh boy, that has changed.
I've learned how to be a little bit more restrained. But at the same time, I will just fucking go off on one if I feel the need to.
I'll be honest. Of recently, in particular, my approach is I'm going to rip your soul open and shine the world's biggest fucking spotlight on your biggest insecurity. You know, that's my approach to things. And it's for the first time in my life, I've actually had like shrieking stand-up arguments with people, and they don't expect it. It's really interesting. They don't expect it, and they are really surprised when it comes about. Oh, God, are they surprised?
Yeah, but at the same time, there must have been something for you to do that in the first place. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done it, would you?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, it is because of this assumed and embedded bigotry, which has become more prevalent since Brexit, by the way. Brexit has completely empowered those fuckers. They feel safer saying it to you and thinking that you're going to somehow facilitate that. And it's like,
not at all.
Oh, you've kicked the wrong hornet's nest there. Really sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, George, but I've had a tremendous amount of fun with this one.
Yeah, no, it's been great, man. It's been great. It's been a nice venting session in many respects.
I'm looking, as I said, I might not do too much editing stills or anything like that, but I'm going to aim to get this out as quickly as possible.
Do you mind if I put this up on my channel a little while after?
You can put it up on your channel whenever you feel appropriate to do so.
Brilliant, thank you, man. I'll wait for it to go up on yours first, and then I'll put it a little after. Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Conversations with Kang, or if this is on George's channel, another episode of Strange Playgrounds.
Yep, Strange Playgrounds.
George, is there anything you want to let people know about, promote, or anything you got going on at the moment?
Oh yeah, sure. So as Jez already said, I have my own YouTube channel, ExaggeratedElegy, where we do video game let's plays and conversations like this. I'm currently doing with my good friends Elliot Chapman and Jack Graham. We are insanely. We are going through the Hannibal series, 2 episodes at a time, doing like dissections of them because we all just absolutely love that show to bits. Yeah, just absolutely. It's mad. Anyway, it's mad. God damn it. And there's plenty for like the bi and straight people on there too. You know, everybody's generally beautiful in that show. It seems everybody. There's also a new channel which is Our Lives in Horror, which is derived from the My Life in Horror project, which I inherited from Kit Power, which is discussions with people from the horror community, creators, directors, writers, also anyone who wants to come on and have a chat, really. We talk about their background in horror and what it serves for them and whatnot. So that's Our Lives in Horror, new horror channel. You can find links to all of my published work, my 4 short story collections now, over at strangeplaygrounds.com, or if you go and type George Daniel Lee into Amazon, you'll find them. Apart from that, if you fancy a chat or want to shout at me, come and do so over on Twitter at EnigmaticElegy.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, at some point, because I'm not sure how far we got with it, I'm just going to close it out of this. I'm not sure how far we got with it, but at some stage, we are going to try and nail down a time to sit down and do our deconstruction of the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
Because we've been talking about this now for 15 years.
Oh, wow, fucking surely, God.
Oh, near enough. So I think I'll have to look back through your channel, but did we do episode 1 or started to do episode 1 and we went off on a tangent?
I think we started and then we went off on like a big ass tangent, and I think it was became a different discussion. I think what we're going to have to do, Jet, is nail it down. It's going to have to be right. We're doing Prometheus. We're doing Prometheus today, and that's it, you know.
Are we doing in release of story order, like chronological, or are we doing it in terms of film release order?
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, because
we build up to
that new Alien series coming out soon.
Yeah. Technically, we should build up to Prometheus, shouldn't we? Because Prometheus was kind of behind this whole discussion, and people need to understand the context of why we responded to it in the way we did. You know. Let's
start at the beginning. Let's start with the 79 original.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that, because that will be a very positive video. That will be a nice video. More information on that soon, ladies and gentlemen. You can just one request, one request. Let's leave the AVP films out of it. No, I can do that. They're their own particular. Because I can't watch them. They're their own particular thing. All right, I will say. Do you know what? I'll say that after we've closed this down. But yeah, do check me out on this channel. I'm going to try and get back into my Transformer reviews now that I've started my therapy sessions. I've got some more 7-day stuff coming. I've got this and a whole bunch of other conversations with queer content creators, so do look out for that. And you can follow me on Twitter at Wolfkang1 and also on my Facebook page of the same name. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this. I shall see you soon. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.